This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. I am so glad that I can be with you today on the Voice of Hope. I want to remind you once again that our special revival series is coming up very soon from the 25th to the 31st. Be sure to join us. All right, be sure to join us on Facebook, on YouTube, on WhatsApp, every social media. We shall be there because this is the time we ought to pray. God says, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, we want to receive the blessings of heaven in these last days that we live in. So join us from the 25th to the 31st. If you want to find more information, our numbers are there. You can give us a call or WhatsApp, and then you will be blessed. Today we are looking at the second church that Christ sent a letter to, and that church is the church called Smyrna, otherwise known as the persecuted church. You know, this church, unlike the first church that we looked at, was doing everything that God had commanded them. They were righteous. They were working hard. They had love, unlike the church in Ephesus. But unfortunately, this church was found in Smyrna. Smyrna was one of the most beautiful cities in Asia Minor. But this city was a city that was rooted in emperor worship. They worshipped the Caesars. And in fact, according to history, every year, every citizen of Smyrna was required to bow before the statue of the Caesar and offer incense to the statue. And after that, you need to issue a certificate to the governor or send a certificate to the city council that you have done your sacrifice for the year. And so if the year ends and you have not sent your certificate, you are seen as somebody who was against the worship of the day. And that was the problem of the church in Smyrna. They refused to bow to human beings. And so this church was a church of blood. They were persecuted. Listen to what Jesus told them in Revelation chapter 2, verses 8 up to verse 11. It says, to the angel of the church in Smyrna write, these things says the first and the last, who was dead and came to life. I know your works, tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. And I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not. You see, Jesus comforted them by saying, even though you think you are poor, he says, rather you are rich. But the truth is that the members of the church of Smyrna were truly poor because they refused to bow to the Caesars. They were not able to get any good job to do. Without the certificate that you have offered incense to the Caesars, you cannot even be employed. So they were poor, but God says, you are rich. Don't worry, maybe because you are following Christ, you have lost certain things. Because you have given your life to follow the truth, you have lost certain things. Jesus says you are rich. Don't give up. Listen to what he tells them. He says, do not fear of those things which you are about to suffer. Indeed, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and you would have tribulation 10 days. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. He says, don't worry what you are going through, my brother, my sister. Don't worry the problems you are encountering because you are a child of God. You may go through difficult times, but he says it's going to be a short time. Be faithful unto the end. One thing that you must understand is that in all the 7 churches, Christ introduces himself in a way that will let the church understand that if they have him, they have no problem. So to the church of Smyrna, who was being persecuted, he says that I am he who died and lives again, so that even if out of your faith in him you should lose your life, remember you will live again. So my dear friend, understand that the Christian life is a call to warfare. Jesus Christ says no servant is greater than his master. If I was persecuted, you would also be persecuted. The people in Smyrna were persecuted for their faith. And guess what? Even though they were persecuted, even though Smyrna was an unlikely place to have a church, the church was still progressing because they looked up to Jesus. Don't say that where you are, they are not allowing you to worship. You can still serve God. You can still serve God. Be faithful. Don't look at the pain. Be faithful. Don't look at the setbacks. Be faithful. Don't look at the mistakes that you have made. Be faithful. Don't look at what people are saying. Be faithful. And Jesus says he will give you the crown of life. May God bless you. May He grant you the power of the Holy Spirit to remain faithful, even in the midst of persecution. Have a blessed day. Shalom.